about 8 o'clock in the morning, incredibly dark in these woods under overcast skies. I just stopped at the Double Springs Gap shelter for breakfast, and now I've got about 3 miles to Klingman's Dome, the highest point on the AT. Oh, I forgot to say, as I was approaching the shelter, I realized I had cell phone signal. So I gave my sweetie a call because I had a hard time getting through to him yesterday. And as I was walking and talking to him on the phone, I jumped a wild pig. It was about 10 feet away from me before I saw it. And it didn't, it just sort of skittered away. It was like massive. Really made me jump. Crazy. Pigs in the woods. The blackberries are still blooming up here.
Okay. Focus on Mom. No!
Okay.
Well, that was a bit jarring. Instant cacophony. Just add humans. I'm going to dedicate my hike today to all the folks that have climbed the 6,200 some feet to Klingman's Dome. Those that came before me, those that come after me, and have gotten up there only to see clouds in the mist. I feel ya. "200 miles." Some portions of the trail are so worn down, it's kind of like walking through a canal. Just met two sisters on the trail, section hiking the Smokies. They said they did a section hike of the Blue Ridge Mountains in Virginia last year, and their trick is to travel with their parents and their children. Their parents watch their children while they do these day hikes, and then they all see each other at the end of the day, I guess. Pretty nice arrangement. Their trail names were Snack Master and Bubbles. Sunshine! I've been pretty fortunate along the trail to not get too many earworms, songs stuck in my head. But I've got one rolling around there today from Pink Floyd, and it's not even really a song. It's that line that says something like, "If you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat?" And it just keeps rolling around in there. I can't get rid of it. I'm trying to tie up a few loose ends and trail stories I've heard, and I think I've got a pretty nice package now. When Jill and I were hiking together, we were sharing Kooks on the Trail stories with Ben and Pat, other couple hikers we met at the Cold Springs shelter in Nantahala Forest. Of course, we shared stories about Wizard, but then they told us about Jolly Rancher, who apparently slept with a Bowie knife next to him for the bears. Then when we got to the NOC, in the land of Wi-Fi and power, and I was catching up on messages and stuff, I got a message on YouTube from Venture saying that he had gotten off the trail to care for somebody who had injured his leg, which is a little different than what I had heard from Captain Jack, who said he thought Venture got off the trail because of an injured leg. Or maybe I misunderstood Captain Jack. Anyways, I had that in my head. Then at the NOC, the day we were leaving, we met 3 other section hikers, Mountain Goat, Thrive, and Flo. My battery died. I have to continue my story. I'm here at a lunch spot drying out my socks and shoes for the last few hours of the day. anyways, we had met these 3 section hikers, Mountain Goat, Thrive, and Flo. And Flo said that she had treated an injured man, or a man with an injured leg, and his name was Jolly Rancher. And of course, Jill and I told her that the kook reports about Jolly Rancher, and she didn't know anything about that. But then as I'm thinking about it, Jolly Rancher might have been the guy that Venture helped to get him off the trail. So all those stories could have potentially come together into one package. I'm thinking that's just how it is. It has to be that way. It's the simplest explanation, right? I was just about to video a story about these 3 old farts I ran across on the trail when just had a sudden hour-long downpour of water. So let me tell you the old fart story and then catch you up on what happened the rest of the day. So I had to stop for lunch, right? I was drying out my shoes. And just as I was picking up and getting ready to go, these 3 old farts came along and passed me. They were walking in the same direction. So they said hey, and I let them pass. And they were setting a good pace. So I was behind them a little bit, but I was matching their pace and sticking with them. And then we came to a steep section where they're basically having to walk up these steps, and then they slowed way down. So I caught up to them and passed them. And a bit of a smart aleck, I said, oh, you guys were setting a great pace until you hit the stairs and everything fell apart or something like that. Well, they took that as a bit of a challenge. So after I passed them, they tried to match their pace to mine. And of course, I wasn't standing for that. I had to kick in the afterburners. Not that I'm competitive or anything. So I lost them. And then the downpour happened. I had just changed into dry socks, and now I'm wading in, the trail, which is now a river with water 2 to 3 inches deep in places. And just thinking, just make it to the meeting place. I had arranged to be at Newfound Gap at 3 o'clock to meet my shuttle driver. I hadn't been keeping track closely of the miles anymore, and I didn't want to get any of my electronics out. I could hear my phone beeping. It might have been him, but it's like, I'm not getting it out in this rain. So I just kept on slogging and marching. I ended up getting to the meeting place a half hour early. He was also there early, so it worked out perfect. Mike was my shuttle driver. He was awesome. He talked non-stop the 30-minute drive into Gatlinburg, just winding and weaving our way down to Gatlinburg. He was showing me where there had been forest fires and telling me all kinds of insider tips, and he told me how to get a discount at a particular lodge, and if I went to the outfitter first. And I mean, these shuttle drivers are just fonts of information. If you can keep your wits about you long enough to take it all in. When he said that there was a hiker discount at this lodge, I thought, oh great, it'll be $30 off or something, totally worth it. It was like 2/3 off the price. It was amazing. And then the outfitter gives you 10% off if you're a thru hiker. And anyways, so I stocked up on food. I ended up buying a new sleeping pad. I can talk about that later. I'm staying in a very nice place. I did not really go into Gatlinburg at all. I just ate at this cheap pizza place next door and have been madly drying things out, washing clothes in the sink, showering, and uploading videos. So I'll talk to you all tomorrow.